Hello, this is Cheryl Beard. Welcome everyone. Tara, I hope it's okay for us to go ahead and get started. So first I want to say welcome to the KAFP's first ever virtual membership meeting and awards recognition ceremony. Even though we can't be together in person, we know how important it is to engage our membership on important matters that the KAFP has, as well as to recognize the hard work of our members throughout the year. So before we get started, I have a couple of housekeeping notes. If you're not muted, we would ask that you mute yourself now. You can mute yourself in the lower left-hand corner of your screen. Just click the little microphone to mute yourself. If you have questions, you can ask them using the chat function, which is at the bottom of the screen. And we are recording this meeting so we can share the meeting with those who aren't able to join us today. And now I'd like to introduce our panelists. So in addition to myself as your current board president, I'd also like to introduce Dr. Chad Johanning, who is our current president-elect, Dr. Jen Bacani-McKinney, who is our vice president. Dr. Gretchen Irwin serves as our the KFP's treasurer, and Dr. Deb Dobeck is our secretary. Dr. Jeremy Presley has been an amazing leader for us these last several years, and he has been a mentor for me this year as our board chair. We also welcome Dr. Jen Bruhl, who is the KFP Foundation president. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Bruhl. These leaders have been really amazing to work with this last year, and I appreciate their time, energy, and dedication to our membership and to the KAFP, so thank all of you. I'm going to turn it over now to Dr. Johanning, who is going to walk us through our governance restructure. Dr. Johanning.
Thank you, Cheryl. I hope everybody can hear me just fine today. You know, 3 years ago, with more than 40 voting and non-voting board members serving on the KFP, we realized that not all these volunteers were actively engaged, fully understood the role and responsibility of service, and we believed that we weren't using our volunteer time probably the best possible way. We found a small group of volunteer leaders on the board who were making the majority of the decisions for the association. At the same time, other AAFP chapters were looking to their board structure to better engage their membership and develop future leaders. And we knew that we had to do some research into some options to be nimble and responsive for the KFP. You know, although our board only meets about 4 times a year and twice of those are virtual meetings now, it's still costly to gather folks together. And we believe there could be also some cost savings in reducing the size and the positions of the board. KFP leaders attended sessions hosted by AAFP to learn from other chapters who had reduced their board size and restructured their governance succession plan. We asked chapters to share their bylaw changes and the outcomes of member discussion on restructuring and policies they instituted around governance. So this past June in 2019, the board appointed a task force of members to dig into the research and begin to develop a plan to address the nominating committee process and the current board structure to include the number of positions on the board, the terms and voting rights of those folks, and qualifications for board service. This task force provided updates to the board on its work in September 19, January 20, and also this past April in 2020, and presented its first draft of its recommendation. Now, we've taken the feedback from the April board meeting back to the task force and incorporated considerations into our next recommendation. The task force will present its final recommendation to the board next month. Assuming the board approves the task force's recommendations, we hope the restructure will accomplish a couple of things. 1, we better engage our new leaders. Number 2, utilize volunteer and fiscal resources conservatively. And number 3, allow the board to be more nimble, making decisions quickly and able to pivot to new priorities in response to members' needs. The ultimate goal here is more members interested in volunteer leadership within KFP will have a clear and concise path to getting involved, whether that be through a revised committee structure or to succeed up the officer ladder on the board. After the board meeting in June, we hope to begin to share the game plan with the membership and allow for feedback. To make any changes to our governance structure requires bylaw changes that must be voted upon by all members. We anticipate that vote will take place during the 2021 membership meeting at FAMMed Forward in Wichita. So we appreciate your feedback there once more is known. So now I'll pass it on to Dr. Presley, who's going to present the decisions of the board that were made at the April board meeting.
Hello, everybody. Last month, the executive committee met to discuss the plan for our inaugural FAMMed Forward conference. We knew we had to make a decision about hosting an in-person conference at that time. At that time, the state of Kansas has not rolled out the phased reopening plan as we're currently in, and the staff team had already negotiated with the hotel in Manhattan, and they had agreed to let the KAFP out of its current contract with no penalty. To best serve our members, we felt that cancellation of the meeting was the most appropriate thing with the uncertain times we were in and the ability to conserve our budget for future endeavors by getting out of those contracts without paying penalties. This also helped to best serve our members, allowing them to focus on their practices, communities, and their own families. The officers believe strongly we should cancel the conference, plan for the first week of June, and then turned our attention to how we would address elections and solutions to offer some of the sessions that have been planned in an online format. The board of directors also met last month to address the need to continue the business of the association in the midst of a global pandemic. The board voted to activate our emergency bylaws, allowing members to vote online to conduct board elections. I'll now turn it over to Dr. McKinney to walk us through exactly what changed in those bylaws.
Hello, everyone. I'm Jen McKinney, and I personally feel as though there was something that was not wanting us to go to Manhattan. Go Jayhawks. Just kidding, Presley. Okay, I'm going to talk here a little bit about the next few slides. So because we couldn't have our in-person membership meeting due to FAMMed Forward being canceled, we knew specific items in the bylaws had to be addressed to allow us to keep KAFP moving along. This and the next 3 slides show exactly the language in the bylaws that changed due to the emergency situation COVID has created for the KAFP. It's important to note, once the board deems the emergency is lifted, the Academy converts back to the original bylaws language. So Dr. Joe Hanning, he's going to walk us through the changes in just a little bit, the changes to our election, but this language basically allows for online voting for open board seats. The online ballot will be mailed to active, life, supporting, and resident members in good standing later today to the email address that you have on file with the AAFP. Further, we've had to be nimble in identifying a solution for write-in candidates since members couldn't, quote, run from the floor, as we've done in the past elections. As we've tried to outline in member communications we've sent out, any member in good standing was able to submit their intention to run as a write-in for any open position on the board, and we would include a blank for them on the ballot going out later today. And this section addresses bylaws amendments, which thankfully we didn't have any for this year. And this section addresses our requirement to produce an annual report for the membership, which we'll still do. It will just be distributed electronically at the end of our current fiscal year. A final implication of canceling the in-person member meeting and thereby in-person voting is the impact on our governance restructure plan. As Dr. Joe Hanning alluded to earlier, these emergency bylaws have pushed back the board's goal of presenting the governance restructure plan to the membership for a bylaws vote until our next membership meeting during FAMMed Forward 2021 in Wichita. I'll turn it back over to Dr. Joe Hanning as the chair of the nominating committee to introduce the slate of candidates.
Thank you, Jen. Historically, we voted for district directors via mail and then other open positions during the in-person membership meeting. This year, because the in-person meeting was canceled, all positions will be voted on through an electronic ballot the staff team will send out later today. Also different this year, which I believe we've already touched upon, is how we're having to handle candidates from the floor, so to speak. Since there really isn't a floor, write-in candidates for every board position have been encouraged, and candidate statements for those folks are available on the KAFP website along with the slate presented by the nominating committee. The slate is as follows. Tessa Roerberg will be in District 2, Shauna Yarmer in District 4, Greg Nickel in District 6, and Derek Totten in District 8. Now, these faces may look familiar to you because prior to COVID-19, we thought we would be in a transition year, possibly with the proposed governance restructure. And because these volunteer leaders were already familiar with the board discussion about the restructure and their service has been invaluable to the KFP, the nominating committee thought it would be best to ask them to stay on in their current roles. And they have volunteered to do so. This decision erased the potential issue of new board members having to rerun for office or step down because their position may be eliminated on the board as a part of the restructure. The timing requirements outlined in the bylaws for the elections, coupled with the impact of the pandemic on our original plans, has made the presentation of this slate unique for KFP this year. So going forward, the candidate for secretary is Jared Johnson. If we can go to the next page, there we go. And the nominating committee selection for chapter delegate is Dr. Jen Brule and Dr. Diane Steer for our alternate delegate seat. On the next slide, you'll see per the email that we sent the membership on Monday, we've had 2 members express interest in write-in candidacy. Dr. Jonathan Pike requests to be a write-in candidate for District 4, and Dr. Alan Greiner requested write-in candidacy for this office of secretary. As a reminder, these candidate statements are on their KFP website, but their names will not appear on the ballot to stay consistent with how write-in candidates have been managed historically in the past. So voting will open today and run through May 25th. An electronic ballot will be sent to you via email to the email address you have on file with the AFP. You'll be asked to enter your member ID number. Each candidate on the slate will have a checkbox, and each board position will have a blank space for a write-in candidate. You must mark for each board position or the ballot will mark incomplete and not be counted. That's probably pretty important. All active life and resident members are in good standing as of May 1st will be eligible to vote. So now we'll turn this over to Dr. Dovick, who will now bring us up to speed on how to acquire CME from KFP this year.
Well, hi, good afternoon. Thank you everybody for tuning in to our virtual town hall meeting. So since we canceled the meeting in Manhattan, Dr. McKinney, I was very disappointed about that meeting not being here, but we will get over it, and it took a pandemic to cancel it, and life will go on. So we're going to talk about how we can get our CME hours in. First one will be resident presentations. Those will be done virtually in the month of June. We will schedule 3 one-hour-long virtual CME sessions with multiple residents presenting and time for questions and answers. And be checking your inbox for when the dates that are going to be occurring. And as these are being presented live, you can report 1 hour of CME for each session attended live. And then also recordings will be posted later, but those will not be eligible for earning CME. Then there will be some poster presentations will be pre-recorded and posted on the KAFP website. And those will be available also next month. But those will not be available for CME. And then other CMEs from FAMMed Forward, many of our speakers have expressed interest in giving their presentations virtually to our members later this year. Staff is working on plans to provide virtual CME for members in the fall. And I'm going to say it again, just be checking your inbox and staying in tuned, and so we can keep you up to date on when those are coming. Are there any questions on that? Then we'll move on.
Thank you, Dr. Dobeck, for that update on CME. I'd like to now invite Dr. Jen Brule, our KAFP Foundation President, to recognize the 2020 KAFP Foundation Award winners. Dr. Brule?
Thank you, Dr. Beard. I am thrilled to be here today to honor the Foundation's award recipients. I wish we were doing this in person, but I'm glad that we are giving them their glory. Although this ceremony looks a little different, the accomplishments of our honorees are just as important to acknowledge. The Hostetter Award was established in 2006 by a gift from Dr. Philip Hostetter's estate. This award recognizes medical students who have demonstrated and promoted the values of family medicine during their medical school careers. One student from each of the 3 KUMC campuses are eligible for this $500 award. Candidates for this award are submitted by their faculty advisors at each campus. I am very happy to award Kevin Klug at Salina, Hannah Swaggerty at Kansas City, and Chanel Doyle at Wichita with this award. We look forward to seeing what you do in family medicine. The second award that I get to present is the Carol A. Johnson, MD, Family Medicine International Mission Scholarship. This award was established in 2014 by the family and friends of Dr. Carol Johnson, who was passionate for mission work during her lifetime. The KAFP Foundation awards 2 $1,500 scholarships annually to family medicine residents in their 2nd or 3rd year of residency who plan to participate in an international mission. This year's scholarship winners were unfortunately unable to travel due to COVID-19, but we hope they will be able to make a trip later in their residency career. Dr. Sarah Johnson planned to travel to Mango, Togo to serve at the Association of Baptists for World Evangelism's Hospital of Hope. Dr. Gurneet Mathru planned to help develop a family medicine residency program in Kenya in collaboration with the University of Nairobi. Congratulations to these 2 wonderful family physicians, and thank you for your international service. Finally, the KAFP Foundation is the philanthropic arm of the Kansas Academy of Family Physicians and relies on contributions from our donors to support students and residents as they train to become our future colleagues. We now offer the opportunity to make a recurring donation to the foundation, creating an easy way for all to further this work. To set up your recurring donation, please visit us at www.kafponline.org/give. Enter an amount for your first month and then select the Make It a Recurring Gift option. Dr. Irwin, the floor is yours to introduce the next award category.
Thank you, Dr. Bruhl. I'm very excited today that I have the honor of presenting our teaching awards. The American Academy of Family Physicians developed these awards to recognize the finest teachers in the category of full-time faculty and volunteer faculty. The nomination process involves letters of support from former students or residents of the nominee. Of Dr. Lind, one student wrote, "What struck me the most during the rotation was the degree of trust and respect that Dr. Lind's patients had for him. There are many examples I could share. However, one that particularly stuck with me was a cancer patient who presented after seeing their oncologist, wishing to hear Dr. Lind's opinion of what treatment option they should choose. This encounter and others speak volumes as to the quality of physician he is and the important role he plays in our community. The Kansas Academy of Family Physicians is proud to award Dr. Edward Lind the 2020 Exemplary Teaching Award in the volunteer category. Thank you for your service, Dr. Lind." I'm also honored to present the award for the 2020 Exemplary Teaching Award in the full-time category to Dr. Philip Dooley of Wichita. Dr. Dooley is the program director of the University of Kansas School of Medicine Wichita Family Medicine Residency Program at Ascension Via Christi Hospitals. One of the support letters received in the award application stated, "It wasn't until I attended a leadership conference for chief residents that I realized just how valuable Dr. Dooley is to our program and to myself as a growing physician. At this conference, there was a session where we each picked an issue and we hoped to improve in our respective residency programs. As we went around the room to discuss these issues, many of the other chiefs spoke about feeling limited in their ability to create change because their program directors either were not accessible, did not support resident ideas, or were not involved enough with the residents to understand the issues at hand. Dr. Dooley is the opposite of this. He not only supports resident ideas, but also brings ideas for change to the program. He leads by example and works to make himself as accessible as possible, even holding quarterly sessions with each residency class to encourage feedback and open communication. Thank you to these 2 exceptional physicians for giving of your time and talent to develop the future of family medicine. We can't say thank you enough, and I wish we were in person so that we could all give you a hearty round of applause. I'll turn it over now to Dr. Beard.
Thank you, Dr. Irwin. I would like to say congratulations to Dr. Lind and Dr. Dooley. Our next recognition is not one that is awarded every year. So on occasion, we have an outstanding candidate nominated, and this is one of those years. I now have the honor of presenting our Humanitarian Award. The Humanitarian Award honors extraordinary and enduring humanitarian efforts and encourages KAFP members, their families, and colleagues to assume a sense of global responsibility and to encourage service to others. As you learn about Dr. LeMaster, I'm confident you will see why he is the recipient of our 2020 Kansas Humanitarian Award. Of Dr. LeMaster, a resident said, "I can distinctly recall how interesting he was as a faculty me as a young resident. He had spent several years in Nepal learning to speak Bhutanese, and he had moved to Kansas City to immerse himself in the Nepali refugee population. I was impressed that this faculty member was so devoted to a particular population, and it really struck the public health portion of my heart." Dr. LeMaster teaches students, residents, and his fellow faculty members about caring for marginalized populations within our healthcare system. Besides his medical degree, he holds master's degrees in public health and in public health in developing countries, one from the London School of Tropical Medicine. He has been recognized as an international expert on cross-cultural research benefiting migrant communities. He has had multiple international invited lectures and visiting professorships, such as a 2013 invitation to McGill University in Montreal, an invitation to the University of Limerick in 2015, and to Rabud University in 2018. Since 2015, he has collaborated with an international research group based at the University of Limerick in Ireland, called the Restore Project Group, who uses participatory approaches to implement cultural competency training initiatives benefiting refugees and immigrants in primary care settings in 5 European countries. These programs were funded by the European Union in 2016 and include heavy involvement of KUMC medical students in data collection activities. He has provided major support to over 40 students who have pursued similar innovative work through the Clendenning Fellows Program and other elective activities. Thank you to Dr. LeMaster for your global work in family medicine, and congratulations on this prestigious award. Our final award is the highest honor in our chapter. The Kansas Family Physician of the Year is the Academy's highest award. Dr. Stacy DeShiel of Sterling, Kansas is the recipient of this year's award. The KAFP has been awarding this honor to hardworking and deserving members for 30 years. Dr. DeShiel is a native Kansan, born and raised in the frontier community of Cottonwood Falls. "I definitely grew up in a healthcare shortage area where there was only one physician assistant who served my county," she said. Her sister, who is 2 years younger, was born with spina bifida and had many surgeries and hospitalizations requiring medical care. Her sister's diagnosis and treatment were a major part of her family life growing up. Looking back, that was where my desire to become a family physician started. From a very young age, I saw and appreciated the doctors who were kind and patient and took the time to explain things. I saw the difference that it made for my family, and it was where the seed was planted, she said. Dr. DeShiel has served the community of Sterling since 2010 as a full-scope rural family physician at Sterling Medical Center and Rice County District Hospital. In addition, Dr. DeShiel is also the medical director of Rice County Emergency Medical Services in Lyons, Kansas, and associate hospice physician at Kindred Hospice in Hutchinson, Kansas. Dr. DeShiel's reputation for compassionate obstetrics care has drawn patients to her who drive more than 30 minutes from Ellenwood, Great Bend, and Yoder. Her philosophy of working with mothers to develop a plan for a safe yet natural birth has been particularly respected by the Amish Mennonite community, who have developed a trusting relationship with her. Dr. DeShiel has visited their community on her own to better understand their way of life so that she might improve their healthcare experience in her clinic. She has also practiced a policy of rounding on her own patients and caring for her OB patients when she is in the county, even when it means that she goes to the hospital on days she doesn't have clinic scheduled. Rice County District Hospital CEO George Stover says, under her leadership as Chief of Staff from 2013 to 2015, the hospital has improved its delivery of quality care by ensuring that each physician and care team member is held accountable for the care they provide. In addition, Dr. DeShiel led the transition to a new clinic electronic medical record system. She was fully responsible for the development and implementation of the new platform, all the while maintaining the level of care that her patients have come to expect of her. Stover also mentions that Dr. DeShiel's role as medical director for the Rice County EMS has significantly strengthened the relationship between the hospital and EMS. She also serves as her county's coroner. Dr. DeShiel, your service as a family physician in your community, particularly a rural area such as Sterling, is vital to advancing the health of Kansans. Thank you for all you do, and congratulations. Now I'll turn it over to Dr. Presley.
Oh, sorry. There we go. Thanks, Dr. Beard. That helps me transition into thanking you personally. I want to thank you for your year of service and the great contributions that you've made for KAFP, and without understating it, is a difficult year to say the least. Losing an entire legislative session basically, and still trying to keep our academy moving and jumping through hurdles that we have no history on to go back on and refer to. So as we wrap up and open up for questions, I want to take just a few moments to thank you, Dr. Beard, for your service as our president this last year. Dr. Beard has served the KAFP for more than 12 years and has given tirelessly of your time and talent to support this organization. As president, she has accomplished many things, including the onboarding of a new executive staff leader, chairing the governor's Restructure task force, and shepherding the academy through the trying times of COVID-19, as presented for our members. Cheryl, I want to thank you for all of your work. I want to acknowledge the fact that I was actually able to just call you Cheryl and not Dr. Beard for the first time, and that I wish you the best. But I really want to give you some time, because I feel that after our president meeting last year that you didn't get quite your time to speak. So I want to be sure you have your chance today, and you have lots of time. So we'd love to hear from you and your time.
You are very, very kind. Thank you, Dr. Presley. It has been my honor to serve with you and other leaders on the board and to serve our members as well. I look forward to what the future holds for the Academy. I know Dr. Johanning will do a wonderful job in the coming years as board president. With that, I'll remind you to watch your email for a voting ballot later today, and we'll open it up for questions with the time we have left. Reminder is that the chat feature is at the bottom of your screen, and if you want to submit a question, we could probably take turns as leaders of your organization answering your questions.
Thank you, Dr. Beard. So one of the questions that came in was asking where members can find a copy of the changes made as part of the emergency bylaws, and we will post those out to the KAFP website later today, and it'll also be in next week's e-news. Just as a reminder, if anybody else has questions about the elections process or the changes to the bylaws, feel free to add those into the chat feature at the bottom. Well, if there aren't further questions, I want to thank all of our members for joining us today in this unique and new way of conducting KAFP business. And your election ballot will go out later today via email. Thank you to all of our volunteer leaders and all of your service and all that you're doing in your communities to protect your patients. Have a great day, everybody.